Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take a whole stack of information articles, interviews, all sorts, and really pull out the most important nuggets for you.
hmm
Today, we're diving into a really compelling interview with journalist Soheila Dashti. We're exploring the Iranian resistance movement.
Right, specifically focusing on the People's Mojahedin Organization of Iran, the PMOI, or MEK, as many know them.
Exactly. And it's complex and it's incredibly enduring, spanning generations, really.
It truly is. We're going to try and unpack how this movement has, survived decades of just immense pressure. It's persisted against unbelievable odds.
Yeah.
So our mission here for this deep dive is to get into their longevity, their very unique internal structures, and how they navigate this really complex web of global politics and, importantly, the domestic narratives trying to define them.
Right.
What really jumps out right away is just the sheer resilience.
Absolutely. Think of this as your shortcut, really, to understanding a group that's been right at the heart of Iran's fight for freedom for, 60 years now?
60 years.
We're going to peel back the layers,
Yeah.
look at the strategies, the incredible sacrifices, and honestly, some surprising facts that define the PMOI.
Yeah, hopefully by the end you'll have a much more nuanced view on this. It's crucial stuff.
Okay, so let's kick things off with that longevity. 60 years. The source material, especially Dashti's insights, points to this continuous struggle. And that's against two dictatorships, first the Shah, and now the mullahs. I mean, when you think about the constant pressure, that level of resistance is almost unheard of.
It really is. And, what becomes immediately clear is the human cost. It's profound.
Yeah.
The interview doesn't just give numbers. It talks about the PMOI's founders being executed under the Shah way back.
Right.
Then the horrific 1988 massacre, thousands executed in prisons. And under the current regime, over 120,000 supporters executed.
It's staggering.
It is. This isn't just about surviving. It's a level of commitment, of sacrifice that's honestly unprecedented globally. It really shapes who they are.
That toll. It makes you wonder how they even keep going, let alone build support.
Exactly.
Yet, Ms. Dashti talks about more than just survival. She points to a strong social base inside Iran.
Yeah, and significant international backing, too.
Right, from lawmakers, politicians, MPs in Europe, even Nobel laureates supporting them. Plus, these rebellious units operating inside Iran. For listeners, these are like small, secret networks of activists.
That's right. Doing acts of resistance, getting information out. Incredibly dangerous work.
So how do they do it? How do they keep this broad support base going with all that pressure for decades?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's especially tough when you consider the war of narratives they're constantly fighting.
Okay, tell me more about that.
The interview really highlights this. It's not just a physical battle. It's a fight over history, over public perception. Apparently, pro-Shah groups and the current regime often, find common ground in distorting the PMOI's history, creating this counter-narrative.
To discredit them.
Exactly. And Mrs. Dashti gives this example. The regime's show trials against the PMOI. They've been going on for over 2 years, handing out death sentences daily.
Wow, daily.
Daily. Yet, these trials, these major human rights abuses, they're largely ignored by a lot of international media.
Even outlets that claim to be, free and impartial.
Right. And she argues the silence isn't just an oversight, it's a deliberate downplaying of what the Iranian people are actually demanding. It sort of marginalizes their struggle, makes it seem simpler than it is.
Which I guess brings us to another point Ms. Dashti raises.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting, I think. The mandatory hijab issue.
Ah, yeah.
That's often framed by the regime, but also by some other opposition groups, as the absolute main focus for women in Iran.
Or even the sole focus. And Mrs. Dashti really pushes back hard on that.
Why?
She basically says that framing is misleading. It minimizes a much, much broader fight for fundamental human rights. For the PMOI, the struggle includes, social freedom, freedom of expression, choosing your clothes, yes, but also religion, gender identity, the right to vote, choose your job. It's about autonomy, full stop.
So framing it just around the hijab.
Yeah.
It serves someone's purpose, maybe, to limit the scope.
That seems to be the implication, maybe portraying the demands as less about deep systemic change and more about one cultural issue, when it's actually about democracy, human dignity, the whole package.
And she also pointed out something about the language changing, right? The slogan.
Yes, exactly. Originally, it was against hijab, but she says the PMOI helped shift it to against mandatory hijab.
The choice aspect.
Precisely. It's not anti-hijab itself, it's anti-compulsion, it's pro-choice. And she clarifies, PMOI members themselves often have a specific dress code, men and women.
Like a uniform?
Kind of, yeah. But that's an organizational choice, symbolizing their collective identity, not some forced religious thing. That distinction's really important.
Got it.
And it lines up perfectly with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Choosing your covering, your faith, your identity, these are fundamental.
So reducing it all to the hijab is just superficial.
That's the argument. She even draws a quick parallel, to other dangerous narratives like India for Indians, just to show how limiting basic rights can lead to really severe persecution.
Yeah.
These things aren't isolated.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What does all this tell us about how the PMOI actually works internally?
Well, the interview gives some fascinating insights into their leadership approach, especially regarding women.
Right, Maryam Rahavi's vision.
Yes. Her view is that the Khomeini regime is fundamentally misogynistic, perhaps the most misogynistic. So women must lead the fight for change, not just participate, but lead.
That's a powerful stance.
It's foundational for them. And it leads to this concept of full-time struggle.
Full-time struggle. What does that mean exactly?
It means dedicating your entire life, foregoing normal jobs, careers, and in many cases, even loosening ties with family dependencies, like making the incredibly difficult choice to send children away. For their safety, yes, but also for the cause. It's radical. A complete reorientation of life towards the collective goal.
Wow. That's a level of commitment that's hard to even imagine.
It is. Ms. Dashti shared this really moving story from Ashraf.
Their former base in Iraq.
Yeah. She met a mother there who had sent her child away, and this mother just turned to her and asked, "Who is the mother of my child now?"
Oh, man.
Yeah, it just hits you, the depth of that sacrifice, the human cost again.
Absolutely. It really makes you stop and think.
And this commitment, it also shaped Ms. Dashti's answer to a professor who asked, what's the guarantee women won't just go back home after a revolution, like we've seen happen elsewhere?
Right, a common pattern, unfortunately.
Her answer was powerful. She said the PMOI empowers women before victory. They get training, education, they take leadership roles now.
So they're already equipped to lead afterwards.
Exactly. They have the experience, the capability, the established position. It's not waiting for permission or for some right time. It directly challenges that historical pattern.
And contrasts it even with places like the U.S. struggling to elect a woman president.
Right, citing perceived financial barriers or whatnot. The PMOI model sidesteps that by investing in women's leadership internally from the start.
And this isn't just internal, is it? It challenges stereotypes outside the group, too.
Definitely. She told that story about the American guy.
Oh, yeah, the one who was shocked to see a veiled PMOI woman using a computer really well.
That's the one. It just shattered his whole stereotype of a, submissive Muslim woman. It's a quiet but strong statement about identity and ability.
Makes you think of that Viktor Frankl reference she made. Man's search for meaning.
Finding purpose in suffering, choosing to endure. It resonates with the PMOI members facing execution but staying committed.
Okay, so beyond the internal side, what about their global reach? The interview really seemed to stress their international engagement.
It did, and it's often overlooked, I think. She mentioned Maryam Rahavi's recent trips, Rome, Paris.
Meeting some high-level people.
Very high level.
Right.
Former prime ministers, current senators. And the key thing, they weren't just meeting. These officials openly supported her 10-point plan for Iran's future.
That's significant. That's not just a handshake photo op.
Exactly. It's public backing for a specific detailed vision, no executions, equality, secular democracy, all that.
And she contrasted that with other opposition figures, right? Like Reza Pahlavi.
Yeah, she noted that while he gets photos, like during his Israel visit, you don't really see public statements of support from those same officials or detailed talk about his specific plans. It raises questions about the depth and transparency of different approaches to international outreach.
Interesting. And it's not just political meetings. There was the mention of Ambassador Bloomfield's book.
Right, Lincoln Bloomfield Jr. His book apparently uses research, data to debunk the negative labels, the demonization that's been thrown at the PMOI for years.
So there's a counter-narrative building based on actual research.
It suggests there's a curiosity, at least among some, to look past the propaganda. And Ms. Dashti said the PMOI engages with basically anyone willing to help Iran's cause. Political support, financial aid. They don't seem picky about who they talk to. Very pragmatic.
Okay.
And maybe this pragmatism, this clear ideology, it connects to something really striking, the young people joining.
You mean inside Iran? Those rebellious units?
Yes, people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, choosing this incredibly dangerous path, despite the repression, despite the PMOI not having a big visible presence there anymore.
Wow. But also young people outside Iran.
Yeah, youth in the diaspora, often
Wow.
born and raised in the West, But they feel this pull, this connection to their roots, and they choose to join the struggle.
That search for identity.
Yeah.
It's a powerful force.
It really is. She used that analogy.
The adopted kids looking for their birth parents.
Yeah. Finding roots. For these young Iranians, hearing news, learning about the resistance, it becomes part of discovering who they are, connecting to their heritage.
And that story about Baidor Kamersi,
Yeah.
her former student who was executed.
Yeah, executed in 81. Then his nephew, years later, finds out his own father was also executed in 88.
Oh my God.
And learning that history, he seeks out Miss Dashti and then chooses to go to Ashraf and join the PMOI.
That speaks volumes.
Yeah.
About generational commitment, about choice.
Exactly. Even facing that history of loss, the power of choice, of agency, draws people in.
This whole deep dive, hearing Miss Dashti's perspective, it really makes you rethink what resistance means, especially against such odds. What comes to, isn't this like cold iron organization people sometimes talk about?
No, not at all. It feels very human. An organization made of ordinary people pushed to do extraordinary things, making profound sacrifices. And through all that, they've hammered out this very clear vision for the future. That 10-point plan isn't just vague hopes.
Right, it's specific. No executions, equality, justice, independent courts.
It's a blueprint. And it seems rooted in this idea that individual work is an exemption from the collective, meaning everyone's contribution matters.
But also that the collective can defeat unity.
Yeah, right. And Masoud Rajavi's line, "The age of myths is over. A hero will not save you." It puts the power, the responsibility, squarely on collective action, on the people themselves.
Quite a statement about human choice, the drive for justice.
An enduring commitment. Like that international observer noted, in our world obsessed with AI and tech, the PMOI's existence is kind of a powerful reminder about ethics, about humanity, which sort of leaves a final thought for you, the listener. In this age of easy answers and information overload, where resisting costs so much, what really drives that kind of enduring commitment? And maybe how do we, as people trying to stay informed, choose to really understand movements that challenge the way things are, especially when the stakes are this incredibly high for human freedom?